Have you ever met someone who is clearly smart? Like they're sharp, they're quick, but they just keep making the same terrible decisions over and over again. It's like their brain is a sports car, but they're stuck in first gear, driving straight into a wall. What if I told you that this has almost nothing to do with their actual IQ score, and that, in fact, some of the most common habits we see every day are scientifically backed ways to absolutely tank your own cognitive performance? Now, let's get one thing straight right away. This video is not about calling people dumb or judging anyone. That's not the vibe here. For real. The term low IQ and the title is clicky, I know, but what we're actually talking about is something far more important: the cognitive habits that make us operate as if we have a low IQ. These are the mental blind spots that hold us back from our true potential, both in our studies and in life. I used to fall into a few of these traps myself, and it was a game changer when I finally recognized them. So, in the next 10 minutes, we're going to break down 5 of the most common everyday habits that sabotage our intelligence. We'll look at the psychology behind why we do them, and, most importantly, the simple, actionable steps to replace them with habits that actually make us sharper. Ready? Let's get into it.
You know the scene. A group project gets a bad grade, a deadline at work is missed. What's the very first thought that pops into some people's heads? It was Sarah's fault. Her part was weak. My boss didn't give me clear instructions. The professor's just an unfair grader. This is the instant blame game. It's the automatic reflex to find an external reason for a failure. Psychologists call this having an external locus of control, the belief that your life is controlled by outside forces rather than your own actions. And here's the problem. When you instantly blame someone or something else, you immediately forfeit your power to learn. Your brain literally shuts down the problem-solving and self-analysis part. It's a cognitive dead end. I remember this one group project in college. We got a C, and one guy on our team immediately started firing off emails blaming everyone else. But me and another friend, we sat down and were like, okay, where did we mess up? My section could have been clearer. Your data was a little rushed. That conversation was tough, but it's why we aced the next project. We learned. He didn't.
The fix? It's simple, but not easy. The next time something goes wrong, force yourself to ask this question first. What was my 1% of responsibility here? Even if you genuinely feel it was 99% someone else's fault, find your 1%. This tiny shift from blame to accountability reopens those neural pathways for learning and growth. It's a superpower. Okay, let's be honest. How often do you Google something not to find the truth, but to find an article that proves you were right all along? Yeah, we all do it. This is called confirmation bias, and it's one of the most well-documented cognitive biases out there. It's our brain's tendency to search for, interpret, and recall information that confirms our pre-existing beliefs. In today's world, with social media algorithms, this is on steroids. Your feed becomes an echo chamber that only shows you things you already agree with. This habit makes us feel comfortable and smart, but what it's actually doing is making our thinking incredibly brittle and, well, unintelligent. Truly intelligent thinking isn't about being right. It's about getting closer to the truth. And you can't do that inside a bubble. You need to expose your ideas to friction, to opposing views. The danger here is that you start to believe that your very specific, curated worldview is the only worldview. You stop being able to understand or even listen to other people's perspectives. That's not just a sign of poor cognitive habits, it's a recipe for a deeply polarized and frustrating life. The fix? Actively seek out the other side. You don't have to agree with it, but you have to understand it. Follow one person or publication that you respectfully disagree with. Read their arguments. Try to understand their logic. This act of intellectual curiosity is like taking your brain to the gym. It might be uncomfortable at first, but it makes your own thinking so much stronger.
This one is about ego.
It's the person who, even when presented with clear, undeniable evidence that they are wrong, will double down. They'll shift the goalposts, attack the person, change the subject, anything to avoid ever having to say the three hardest words in the English language. I was wrong. This behavior is often a defense mechanism against what psychologists call cognitive dissonance, the mental discomfort of holding two conflicting beliefs. The belief that I am a smart person clashes with the evidence that I have made a mistake. To resolve that discomfort, it's easier to reject the evidence than to update your self-image. I used to be so bad at this, especially with small, dumb stuff. I'd argue for 10 minutes that a movie came out in 2008 when it was actually 2009, even after someone pulled up the Wikipedia page, for real. It's embarrassing to think about now. Why? Because I had tied my sense of self-worth to being right, instead of to learning.
The fix? Reframe what it means to be wrong. Being wrong isn't a failure of intelligence. It's an opportunity to become more intelligent. It's literally a moment where you get to update your brain's software with better information. Start practicing saying, I didn't know that. Thanks for sharing. Or, you know what? You've given me something to think about. It's a game changer. No cap. This one is subtle, but you see it everywhere, especially online. It's the habit of stating personal opinions with the same authority and finality as established facts. That movie was terrible. Working from home is just better. Apple products are a waste of money. These are all opinions. They might be well-reasoned opinions, but they are not facts. A fact is an objective, verifiable piece of data. For example, that movie received a 34% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's a fact. A Stanford study found that remote work increased productivity by 13%. That's a fact. The new iPhone costs over $1,000. That's a fact. People who consistently present their opinions as inarguable facts shut down conversation. There's no room for discussion, no nuance. It signals an inability or an unwillingness to differentiate between their subjective feelings and objective reality. That's a huge red flag for poor critical thinking skills. The fix? Get into the habit of using qualifying language for your opinions. It's as simple as adding phrases like, in my experience, I feel like, from my perspective, the way I see it is. This doesn't make your point weaker. It actually makes you sound more thoughtful, confident, and intelligent because it shows you recognize the limits of your own perspective. That's facts.
And finally, a fifth habit, and this one is low-key the most important. It's the habit of never stopping to think about how you think. This is the person who lurches from one task to the next, one experience to the next, without ever pausing to ask, why did I react that way? What could I have done differently in that situation? What mental model am I using here, and is it working? This process is called metacognition, or simply thinking about your thinking. A lack of metacognition is the ultimate intelligence killer. It ensures that you will repeat the same mistakes for the rest of your life. You're trapped in a loop because you never step outside the loop to examine it. People avoid self-reflection because they think it's navel-gazing or a waste of time, or more deeply, they're afraid of what they might find. It can be uncomfortable to confront your own flaws and biases.
The fix. Schedule it. Seriously. Take just 5 minutes at the end of your day. You can journal, or you can just sit quietly and ask yourself 2 questions. 1. What went well today and why? 2. What was a point of friction today and why? That's it. This simple habit of daily review builds the muscle of self-awareness faster than anything else I know. It's what separates people who grow from people who stay stuck. So let's bring it all together. This isn't about an IQ score you were born with. It's about the active choices you make every single day. To operate at your highest potential, you need to ditch the habits that hold you back. 1. Stop the blame game. Take ownership, even just 1%, to open the door for learning. 2. Pop the confirmation bias bubble.
Actively seek out smart people and ideas that challenge you. 3. Let go of needing to be right. See being wrong is an opportunity to get smarter. 4. Distinguish opinion from fact. Use language that shows you know the difference. 5. Practice self-reflection. Spend just a few minutes each day thinking about your thinking. These aren't massive, life-altering changes. They are small, daily course corrections that, over time, will lead you to a place of greater wisdom, effectiveness, and genuine intelligence. Your intelligence isn't a fixed number carved in stone. It's a living, breathing thing that you can nurture and grow. The real deal isn't about looking smart, it's about getting smarter. So here's my challenge to you. Just pick one. Pick one of these 5 habits that resonated with you the most. And for the next week, just focus on that one. Notice when you do it, and gently try the fix we talked about. If this video gave you something to think about, a like would be amazing, and consider subscribing for more content on how to study smarter and live better. Let me know in the comments which of these habits you're going to work on first. Thanks for watching. Keep learning, and I'll see you in the next one.